We are going to take a look at grid view next. And so I'm going to go ahead and open this in Chrome. So you can see it's set up the same way that CSS Grid was. And then we're going to open this in VS Code. And the first thing that we're going to do is set up that border box sizing. And again, this is a responsive way to set up the virtual boxes on your page, because it will include the margins and the padding and borders in the calculation for width and height. So at the very top here, I'm going to put an asterisk, which is going to impact everything. Box sizing, border box. And then for grid view. Grid view, we need to define a row. So we're going to have a row class. And after the line with the HTML with the class in it is where we're going to have it set up our table. So we've got a row class and we've got after. I'm going to set the content to nothing. We're going to clear out the floats. And we're going to set the display to table. Then the way we're going to set up our columns is it's going to default to mobile. So we'll put in a little comment that mobile is the default. And we are going to be setting up classes, and the classes are going to have widths associated with them. And so for mobile, all of the classes are going to have a width of 100%. So we have asterisk equals anything that starts with column and dash is going to be impacted, which is all of our columns. And we want the width set to 100%. Now we also want float left. Part of the reason we cleared the floats is because we have to use floats in this layout. And we're going to have a little padding associated with this as well, so things aren't smashed right up against each other. Okay, so that is the default. Everything's going to have a width of 100%. And that works great for mobile phones. But we are going to want a little different width for tablets and a different width for our desktops. For desktops, we're going to be dealing with 12 columns, but you don't have to set up 12 columns for tablets. You actually don't even have to do that for desktops, but it is a standard. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and I'm going to key in the columns for the desktops. And I'm also going to key in the columns for the tablet. So you can see I have tablet here, and for my media query, I've got only screen, and if the minimum width is 600, we're thinking it's a tablet. And then you'll notice below that, we've got a minimum width of 768. Okay, so really it's only widths from 600 to 768 that are going to be tablet. Anything 768 or bigger is going to be desktop. And you can see I've got little different column settings, and that enables me to put both the tablet and the desktop settings, those classes within the same elements. Okay, and for tablet, I set it up in 10 columns. For desktop, I use the standard 12. Okay, and you'll notice that I did change the sections that are within article just a little bit. I changed some of the coloring and the border just so that you'll be able to visually see when we go from the desktop to the tablet to mobile phone. Okay, it's going to look a little different. So that is how you set up your CSS. And the next step is to put the classes in the areas of your HTML that you want to make responsive. And so I'm going to use main for my container again, and I'm going to set the class of row here. So everything inside main, I am going to assign columns to. So my header, I want that to span the page. So I'm going to use, for the desktop, I'm going to use column 12. And then for mobile, I'm going to use column 10, which is my maximum width 100% for mobile. Then navigation. This I also want to span the page. So I'm just going to copy what I did in the header, and I'm going to paste it down here. And for the aside, I want that to span the page. So this is easy. I'm just going to paste and put it in there as well. The other area that I want to span 100% is my footer, which is at the bottom. So I'm going to scroll down here and we'll paste one more time. Now, the areas that I don't want to span 100% are these articles. I really want each one to be about a third of the page. Okay, so if I look up here for my desktop, column 4 is a third of the page. And then if I look up here for my tablet, column 3 is a third of the page. So in my article, those are the two classes that I'm going to use. And I can copy that. And then I can paste it. And at this point, this is pretty much set up. So you can see that this is a little faster and a little simpler than CSS Grid. It is not as flexible because it is going to render your content in the order that it encounters it. And if you remember with CSS Grid, we can actually, even though we have the aside located here, we can display it at the bottom if we want, okay, because of that template area. You can't do that with Grid View, okay? But I'm gonna go ahead and save. This is a super easy way to get your page responsive. So let's go out here and we'll reload. So we can see that it's not looking quite how I planned. So it's not displaying my content in the rows properly. So let me look up here in my CSS and you can see I have a little issue here. So let me get rid of that and save it. And let's see if I have any other issues. I think the rest of it looks good. Let's come out here, reload it. And that is exactly how it should look. So this is desktop. We changed the background color white. And then if I resize, you'll notice that when it gets to here, now it is in tablet mode. And tablet doesn't last very long. And then we get into mobile. Now, could you have tablet mode go longer? Of course. If you wanted the tablet mode in effect longer, we could just change the minimum width. So we change that to like 500. Save our changes, make sure we don't do any typos. Okay, and then you'll notice that it stays longer. Okay, so that is grid view. And as I said, it's not quite as flexible as CSS grid, but it does work quite well.